Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Marvel's Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. Season 5, Episode 7. It's called Together or Not at All. So full spoilers for the episode as always. We'll dive in. This is a bit earlier than usual this week. Again, schedules just worked out that we could squeeze this in a bit earlier than normal. Don't get used to it. As we said last time this happened. Don't get used to it. But clearly it happens every once in a while. So no. Action-packed episode.
Yep.
We started off with the team on the run just after escaping Cassius and his evil grasp. Things kind of started off splintered, then they came together in the middle, and then they kind of splittered back out again at the end as we set up sort of the next part of this arc, which we know is in all 3 episodes, because episode 10, I believe, is the finale of this story.
Cool.
So, and for the most part, I actually really like what they did here. Because I think at the end, or towards the end, when they split back up again, I think it'd be very easy to be eye-rolling at like, oh, really, are we splitting up, are we doing this? But I actually really like the reason. I think from a superhero story point of view, I actually really like why.
Yeah, and also it's different pairings that are being split up. So
Sure, yeah. It also, so the whole thing is that Flint deals with the guilt of like people dying for him throughout the episode, and he's particularly upset when he finds out about Tess, of course. And at the end of the episode, when they finally get to the ship, and we'll talk about what the other characters are all doing throughout the episode, but they get to the ship and he's like, yeah, I mean, I can kind of fly the thing, but I'm not going with you because like these people are dying for me, and you told me to help people with my powers. Like, you know, superhero 101, people with power should help people who don't. You know, it's really that simple. So I actually really like this. As much as Flint's not like a big character in the sense that we've fully developed him yet. Like, I mean, we like him well enough. We got a nice introduction to him last episode.
yeah, but we've not had that much of him, really.
But he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, you know what? This is actually making him a more interesting character. The idea that he's like, no, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to be the superhero for this world. This. I mean, it's just a lighthouse, but like, this society, I am going to be that for them because maybe I can help them and do something with this power. And I think what really helps, though, is that before this, we already got to see him use his power in a really cool way, and I'm like, oh no, he could be a badass. Like,
oh yeah, he's clear. Like, you know, they make a point saying, yeah, he's untrained and he's just kind of throwing things together, but he's pretty efficient.
Yeah, because he goes up to, you know, the lead Kree in the floor who dealt with Tess. Like, he comes up to her, and you think he's turning himself in, and I'm like, and it's just when it's the other Kree searches his pockets that he, you know, pats them down, and he pulls out just this little pile of rocks, just a small pile. And it was in his pocket, and I'm like, oh no, and it reminded me a lot of like something with Magneto, where they'll sneak in little bits of metal, just so you can use them. And he forms a little like spearhead and puts it through the Kree's eye. It is glorious.
It's fantastic. I loved it.
Do you know what? This show is really making a trend of having some fantastic little moments of violence.
It is, and here's the thing: you want me to like a character, have them do something cool as shit like this.
Yeah, exactly.
It helps.
Because at least now I'm like, I'm already on board. Okay, as a power set, as a hero, I can kind of get behind this now, and I think I'm doing a decent job like building him up a little bit. It was a little bit typical at certain points in the episode when he was like, oh, people are dying for me. Like, it was.
Yeah, I liked how they showed how different his powers to last week. You know, you know, it was just big boulder smash, very just clumsy. But this was, this was precise. This was just targeting.
This was the scalpel instead of the chainsaw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, no, it was a really cool display of his powers. And again, him making that hero's choice at the end. I think you already at least. Like, you already found him likable because the whole intro last week where he's like, he's stealing the fruit, or not stealing the fruit, he's like, trying to barter and stuff to get the fruit, and he gets his bit of fruit, but then it's stolen away from him. So, no, I think. I see the starts of a nice little arc for him, and maybe they sort of sidelined us with Tess, and
because that's what we were expecting for so long.
We were thinking she was going to grow to be the hero, but no, maybe it's going to be this kid. And I actually completely respect that Mac and Yo-Yo are like, yeah, we're staying behind with him, because as much as what he's saying is noble, part of me thinks, yeah, if you leave him behind on his own, he's probably going to get beat quite quickly, even with his powers. So no.
Yeah, because they can saying, yeah, okay, he's strong, but he doesn't really know what he's doing.
Yeah, she has super speed. For the most part, and he obviously is very experienced. Mac's a smart dude.
He's got super awesome, basically.
Yeah, and I know I said last week, and in fact the last 2 weeks, that I was waiting for the moment where Fitz gets the weapons out, and I wanted the reaction. I'm happy to trade it for the moment we got instead because it was hilarious.
It was, yes.
Yeah, and by the way, notice he did not mention the shotgun axe. That'll still be a surprise when Mac gets to it.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but this is like, oh, by the way, since you're staying behind, I had some shield tech in the wall on the base in the past, and like, oh man, way to go, Turbo! Like, both of them were so happy. Where is it? Oh, it's on level 3. Level 3 with the blood sucking monsters. And then Fitz is just like, hey, wait a minute, like, through time to save your ass. Like, that's not.
I came through time and space to do this, and you're giving me shit. How was I supposed to know? All right, fair enough.
It was the way they didn't finish the sentence. They really correct. I was like, how was that supposed to? Look at not good.
What's the point here? Yeah,
I loved it. That is not his best line of the episode, though. The best line of the episode is when after he has a quiet moment with Skye, and she's like, "Oh, deathmatch, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah. It seems like the best way to make a grand entrance. Well, maybe you should have been in the death ring." He's like, "Nah, wouldn't it be fair? I've been doing push-ups now, double digits."
Yeah, that was pretty great.
That might be the most Scottish thing he's ever said, by the way. I just want to point that out.
It might be, yeah. The other line I really liked, because again, we were saying that we were hoping they'd do this last week, is after they're on the ship, and Gemma's like, "Oh yeah, no, I proposed to you." She's like, "No, I proposed first." It's like, oh, forget it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't have to keep doing it again forever, but this was just enough to make a callback once of like, this joke's not forgotten. And even Coulson thinking he can fly a ship because he has a flying car, not the same thing.
No, that's not.
If I'm going to be critical of any skills in this, maybe just, and it's a minor nitpick, but just, Fitz seemed to know what he was doing with getting that implant out. Really, I mean, it's a technology he's never encountered before. I feel like that was a bit easy.
Yeah, he was just like, "Oh, it's there. I'll just pull it out.
I'll just jab it in. This is going to hurt love." Like, stick a
But
thing in my
I
ear.
did enjoy Skye choking out the Kree.
I did enjoy that too.
Just in the background for the most part.
Yeah. It was one of those little fights that was played for humour. Like, we had a little moment to start where she tries to use her powers and she's like, "Oh shit, I still don't have them back yet. The inhibitor's still in." So I'm looking forward to that getting taken out. Obviously, that should be a nice big moment for her when she gets her powers back. But she goes for that and it doesn't work, so she has to go with some old school fighting and chokes them out. But it is mostly just played in the background, so it makes it quite comical. I like that. I liked all the bicker. I liked them all being back together again, and just like the banter between them. And in fact, my other great Mac line of the episode was when they show back up with everyone, except May, obviously. But when Brick takes them back up to the room that they've been working in, and it's like, "Fitz, how are you?" They're all happy. It's just like, "Oh, Fitz, how are you here?" And Simmons is like, "Hey, no. Like, story time can wait. We need to like deal with this gunshot wound." And he's like, "Not if there's time travel in it. It can't." So that was another great line.
It was.
But yeah, so they're on the run. Cassius' brother also has his own like henchman, his like male version of Sinara.
Yeah. Also, I didn't realize Cassius was a family name until this.
Not until the brother said something, like the Cassius family name or something like that.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, okay, so he's a Cassius as well. I was like, all right, okay, this is going to get confusing.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense though. They're all calling him by his surname if you think about it, though.
It does make sense. It does. I just Cassius I and Cassius the Elder.
Yeah, sure. Although there was a line in it that made me think if we're going to see like their father in like present day, because it was something like, "Oh, father once thought this world had promise," and I'm wondering if when we get back to present day Earth, if we actually get their father as like the main villain at some point.
He was scouting it out.
Yeah, I could see that, especially since I want to say Kree live longer than humans do, so it'll be.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah, so no, I think that'll work. So that'll be cool if they go down that path. So speaking of those, actually, we'll stick to their plot since we've kind of stumbled onto them. Yeah, if I was going to make nitpicks of this episode, other than the one or two small things I've mentioned, it would be that Cassius' brother is sometimes a bit too on the nose with his monologuing. Like, he was sort of going on, he's like I liked when he said, "Oh, I prefer a blade because I like the warm blood in my hands," but then he kept going for like another minute. And I'm like, okay, I get the idea, right? You made your point.
I appreciate at least that Cassius was kind of rolling his eyes at it.
Yeah, he was also feeling the same way we were. And I think what this episode did was really smart, because I think the last episode and then like a chunk of this one kind of like told us, oh, Cassius isn't this big hotshot. He's like this little castaway. They've shifted him off here to this shit job because they don't want him around. And I think this episode, by the end of it, it kind of strengthened both Cassius and Sinara as villains, because like I knew Sinara was probably going to take out the other henchman dude.
Yeah.
Because the other henchman was too into it and he was too cocky, and you could just see it coming. By the way, I liked that they've got like they had like some smaller versions of her theme playing.
Yeah, it's cool.
The first time it was like I think it was when Casais was trying to convince her that he was still like in control and the plan was still going well. But the theme that played, it was like her theme, but it was like a much more subtle thing in the background than the big sort of heavy one.
I can't wait to get the score for this season because it's been excellent.
I don't know if they've even done the fourth season one yet.
I don't care. They're gonna do it. I'm gonna make them do it.
And I'm still pissed at them because season 2 score exists, right? They released a soundtrack for season 2, and it doesn't have the goddamn like Quake theme.
I know, but at least on the bright side, we'll make them keep going. And the Quake theme is so prevalent after that they'll have to include it.
That's true. Because I'm still waiting on it. I want a good version of the music they played in Mavith. That's the one where they got off the planet in season 3.
Yeah.
At the end of that episode, that's a fantastic bit of music, and there's no soundtrack for it.
I know. But there's been so many pieces, so many amazing variations on themes this season because they're playing with all the space and the synths.
Yeah. No, I don't want the music. But yeah, so she kills the henchman dude, which does well for her. But then you think that Casais' brother's like always impressed with her now. He's like, oh, I'm going to take you for myself. It's like all episode he's been making Casais look small and feel small. And then here at the end, like you could almost just you could sense it coming that Casais was going to like come up and stab him in the back. And sure enough, and I kind of like that about both deaths. Is like both times they killed someone, whether it be Casais or his henchman, you could see it coming just before it happened. But it actually it worked for the moment.
It still lands, yeah.
Yeah. Also, speaking of seeing things before they happen, when his brother says when he's like lying there dying, he's like, "Oh, so you sneak up and stab your enemies in the back." Now, I thought he was going to say not just the back and then stab him, but it was close enough. I'll take.
I think he says and the front too.
Yeah, it's close enough. I'll take the win. But I like that moment. I was like, I mean, not that I would be stabbing anyone, but if I was in that position, that's exactly what I'd have said before I stabbed him in the neck.
Hey, make the most of your moment.
Yeah. So no, really. Yeah, so a lot of murky in the middle because of some of the speeches been going a bit too long, but I actually really like when it left them up at the end. Because it bolstered him back up again a little bit at the end, and it bolstered her up, and it feels stronger than ever, potentially. So that's pretty cool.
Because it started to make him feel like he was going to be like almost a scrappy underdog for his place.
Yeah.
But I think this kind of quickly shows, no, he's manipulative, he's got his place, he knows what he's doing, and he's striving for more. He's not really the underdog anymore.
Yeah. I think him taking just control back, like because he's felt small ever since his brother's shown up. Him just like taking that back. Especially, I liked that the motivation as well was when it was Sinara being taken away from him. That was that was the threat. Like that's what motivated him to move.
It's like no, that's too far. Because we did have his whole speech about how she saved his life and because they deserted their posts and stuff.
But then he reveals more of it after he stabs him, where he's like, "Nah, the generals were dead because Sinara killed them for me because they were trying to stop us from leaving. Like, we're bonded." And I like as well that Sinara is impressed with the killing of his brother. Like she like I don't want to say turned on, but she's like, yeah, sure, worthy again.
Yeah, I think it's like he's finally manned up and got some blood on his own hands.
Yeah, it's
and face.
And face. He's practically like he's like rubbing it all over. He's like, yes, blood, yes. Yeah. Which kind of calls back to. Thing he's saying, because obviously his brother mentioned that he liked blades, he liked the blood on his face, so this is a nice callback to that. It's like a ironic reference to that earlier scene where he's basking in his brother's blood, so it works. And yeah, so no, but I really like that relationship where Sinara like was starting to see him as weak, but she didn't just abandon him immediately. She saw the potential for him to be better. She wanted him to get better. Not just to like... I think it's a more interesting relationship than, I just like him because he's strong, and the minute he shows a sign of weakness, I'm going to leave. The fact that she stuck around and hoped that he'd get strong again.
Yeah, definitely.
It means there's like a real bond there, but she respects all the things she still respects, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's got layers.
Yeah, so, no. Good stuff. So, but back to the team sort of on the run throughout the episode. We had I mean, as much as the henchman, I kind of knew he was probably going to be dead by the end of the episode. They did do a decent job of selling him as a threat when he just slit that one random dude's throat.
Yeah, they showed that. Oh no, he's onto them. He's not, no prisoners.
Yeah, he was just gunning for them, and literally even. But we had obviously run to Deke again, and he's like, "Hey, I told you I'd get to Simmons, and there's Simmons, and this guy, whoever you are."
Yeah. He's not wrong. Technically,
he's not. I lost my moments throughout all this. I love when they get back to the team and they're like hiding in the room after they've went and got Flint back and they're hiding in the room and the Kree are trying to break in. And Coulson's just frustrated. We're a team full of spies, superheroes, and like whatever.
Spy scientists and superheroes.
That was the other one, scientists. It's like we don't have nothing, and then ultimately becomes just put rocks in front of the door. That's the big plan.
Yeah, I like it. Goes, that'll hold him for a while, and then it's just like it just doesn't.
Yeah, it's like, or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's funny is that there's a Star Wars reference in a minute where they call the two Kree Mr. and Mrs. Fett.
Yeah.
Right. What I thought was funny though is that obviously they didn't know this when they wrote this episode, but this coming out after Last Jedi, the rocks themselves were actually more of a reference to Star Wars than that was.
Yeah, it's true.
But unintentional, because obviously, I mean, I highly doubt the writers of S.h.i.e.L.D. were getting sneak peeks at the scripts.
Well, I know they're all Disney, but it seems unlikely.
Yeah, they're not that closely tight knit, I don't think. But no, it wouldn't surprise me if we get a joke about that in the second half of the season. You know, when they've written the episodes post seeing the movie, when they're doing stuff with the rocks.
Yeah, they do like making Star Wars jokes. Let's be honest.
They do. Obviously, there's that big one with the cryo sleep in the Fitz episode.
Yeah.
With Hunter, which bit of synergy, cross brand, propping up the other thing.
It you can be cynical about that, but at least I think for me, it's not just that I enjoy them. I think because Star Wars is big enough, a lot of shows make references.
They do. I'm not really criticising it, but I'm just kind of joking in my head because I think they would love to be able to reference things in Star Wars, but they can't because the characters are not supposed to know anything about anything we consume.
Yeah, no, definitely. It would be just wrong.
Yeah, that of course. No, all that stuff in the run was good. Action was fun. Of course, the other small tidbits that we've not mentioned, of course, are May on the planet, and Enoch, of course, shows up. And the bloodsucker things, they don't care about him. He has no innards that they want, so they just kind of ignore him.
I love that May's like, I thought Fitz was done with robots.
Yeah, that was their assumption. And she's like, Joe, have you diagnosed the extent of your injuries yet? And she actually just like very specifically, he's like, I think I've torn this ligament. Like, very, very accurate.
He's like, maybe you should be a doctor.
Like, I'm a fighter. Maybe it's time for a career change. You don't look so hot. But no, so that's good. But obviously we have a gravity storm that comes in. I'm curious if this is like a real phenomena. No, obviously not on Earth, but like I'm curious if this is a thing that actually happens on like moons or something like that is based in something, or if it's just
so. It sounds cool.
Or if it's just science fiction gobbledygook. I'm curious. Let us know, space and science nerds in the comments. I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious.
I'm just thinking because gravity is caused by mass, right?
Yeah.
So it would be to have a storm, you'd have to fluctuate the mass. So maybe because there's pieces of Earth affecting, you know how like the moon affects the tides. Maybe if the other pieces kind of shift around each other.
That sounds relatively plausible but
it's the best I can come up with on the spot.
But I mean, I was intentionally trying to avoid actually thinking of like going into it in any detail.
No, but I'm giving my theory.
But there you go. People can let us know how right or wrong that is.
Probably absolute bollocks.
Probably is. But some mysterious people, because we know there's people down there, right? Yeah. And it's worth mentioning the Kree know there's people down there now as well. They're going to go hunting. They still want to get Sky, and make that a thing. So, but they get taken. Now it looks a little bit sinister at first, but obviously it's like, well,
these claws come and grab her.
Yeah, but they're actually keeping a hold of her, so it's not a surprise when we get to the post-credit scene, and the May wakes up, Enoch's there. It's like, they came and got us just in time. I'm like, right, who is this going to be? Because they call it sets up as like, okay, we're about to reveal who this is. Because he's like, and she's like, who got us? He turns around and in walks people. And as soon as I saw the person, I was like, okay, that's probably the little Robin girl, all grown up. And I think I even said that in the fifth episode, that her age would actually kind of be around this, like she could be alive.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
But no, interesting. So
look, all I'm saying is, I don't care what the gobbledygook sciencey reason is. I hope the two people with her are Hunter and Bobby, because we know that they were looking after her.
Oh. Okay.
They'll have to jump through some hoops, but they've got two masked people there.
Now, I think the Orville's finished filming, so it's not completely impossible.
I think it should have done, because I think it was only the 13 episodes Orville.
So I think
is all aired.
I don't think it's completely impossible. That said, there's going to be some sciencey gobbledygook to explain how.
I will take any sciencey gobbledygook. Just give me the pair of them.
If any, I mean, I think the more likely approach is that it's like Bobby and Hunter's like kids or something like that.
Yeah, that's boring.
Or even grandkids at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's specific. I mean, even if they have kids in the next 10 years, then this could easily be grandkids who are in like their 20s and 30s.
It could.
So, I mean, it makes sense. So,
I mean, I know it's probably not them. I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful.
But I'm glad that half the team are off the station now, because it gives us a different setting for like some of the show.
Yeah.
We'll be on the planet and all the harsh climate.
A little bit of a different direction to go rather than just survive in this place. We've got a goal now, an objective.
Yeah, it's proactive. It's about A, trying to save the world, and B, because they still have to do that. The prophecy still has to be fulfilled. They still have to save people. And then on top of that, you have just we have to get back up and get Flint, Mac, and Flint may not come with them because he might stay in the future, but
yeah,
I have to get Yo-Yo and Mac, and whatever else. So it'll be interesting. But no, there's some nice reunions in this episode. I mean, there was nice reunions in the last episode as well, but this had more of the fun banter after the fact.
You got the group feel, kind of. Yeah, last episode we had the reunions, but it was in really high tense situations. Here, you had them in a room together for 10 minutes without being chased.
Yeah. I think anything I can complain about this episode are kind of minor nitpicks. It's Cassius' brother monologuing a bit too much about war and blood and whatnot. The other henchman dude, while they sold him quite effectively, that throat slit was really good, brutal and good in that sense. It was kind of obvious he was probably going to be done by the end of the episode. Like it was clearly there to sort of boost up.
It's one of those problems where there's only so much you can do about that.
Oh,
when
of course.
You've only got one episode of runtime to build them up and throw them away. It's like, okay, there's only so much to be done.
There is. Like I say, minor nitpicks. But for the most part, I'm still into the space plot. I don't know what you would call it. The lighthouse. Is that what we're calling the arc? They've never really officially called this arc anything. I'm calling it the lighthouse.
I think I heard them refer to it as S.h.i.e.L.D. in space.
That's boring.
I think that's what I think it is.
That's not a title. That's a description.
No, I know, but
I really hate. Should when a movie title is just a description, unless it's snakes in a plane, because that's kind of funny, because it's like so like ridiculous.
It's so on the nose.
But typically, if the title can be a description of what it is, I usually think it was a dull title.
Like what?
So you need to put me on the spot now. I've definitely had this thought before, so I know they exist.
I know this is one of your favourite movies, but could Kill Bill not be considered under that? You kill Bill.
See, it has a ring to it though, because it rhymes. It's got like it does something though. S.h.i.e.L.D. in space doesn't accomplish anything as a title. It's just
no.
It sounds like a sentence. Kill Bill at least sounds like a phrase. Is that a thing?
All right.
Is that a thing? I'm trying to think of an example of another example of it. Just sounds like it's describing the movie. Actually, here's an example. This isn't quite the same thing, but you know how that Three Billboards movie that's out?
Yeah.
I feel like, because the full title is actually Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I feel like, cut off that last part, just call it Three Billboards. That's what everyone's calling it anyway.
I agree, it's too long.
It's too long. Like, it's just too specific.
Yeah. It's Three Billboards. You'll hear it, the full title in the awards sentences. In the nominations are, and that's it.
Yeah. But arguably that is a bit of a describer. It's just about Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. It's too.
It's true.
It's a bit too specific. I don't know. I'm a fan of a title that maybe doesn't even make sense until you watch the movie, and then you go, "Oh, that's why it's called this." I love that. That's a great little way of titling a movie. Silence of the Lambs. That's a good example of that.
Oh no, I'll give you that one. That's good.
Because you're like, why is this called that? And then you get to that one scene, like 2/3 through, and it's like, ah.
No, that is a good title.
So no, I like when they do that. I'm looking up at the Blu-rays to see if I can see any examples.
Comments section. Throw in your suggestions.
Yeah. It bugs me anyway. This is the point of me. It bugs me. Yeah. So that and titles where it's just the character's name, unless they've got a cool name. Like John Carter, for example, is a really obvious
Yeah.
example. That is a shit title for a movie.
Lucy.
Lucy, yeah, or even the last like Bourne, Jason Bourne. Like no,
Yeah. Don't know why that wasn't Born Again.
I know Born Again. It rings a cell. It rings a goddamn cell.
Like, who is getting paid to come up with titles like Jason Bourne and not giving them Born Again? Like, who is still getting paid for that?
I'm still upset Taken 2 wasn't called Taken 2 The Max.
Yeah, it's not as good as Born Again.
And if they ever make a fourth one, it needs to be called Taken 4 Granted. Because she keeps getting kidnapped, so he's taking her for granted.
No, I'm with you.
I'm just saying, it works. Like, anyway, I'll take a lovely goofy title over a shitty, boring person's name or a describing sentence any day of the week.
Me too.
So, anyway, I guess we're done with S.h.i.e.L.D. for the week. It was a really good episode, though. I dug it a lot. So, that has been episode 7. So we'll be back next week with episode 8. Let us know what you think of this one in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm making noise. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz. If you want to support the show on the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You can do that over there. There'll be a link in the description, as well as some other links that are useful. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?